Hello. Welcome back to Module 4, Authority is Constructed and Contextual. Today, we will discuss Section 2, Critical Thinking. In this video, which will be the first of two on this subject, we will go over the concept of critical thinking and what it means to be a critical thinker. Critical thinking is one of the 5 fundamental outcomes that direct the college's curriculum. American philosopher and reformer John Dewey offered perhaps the first formal definition of critical thinking. Active, persistent, and careful consideration of any belief or supposed form of knowledge in the light of the grounds that support it, and the further conclusions to which it tends, constitute reflective thought. In another book, Dewey further observed critical thinking was based on 4 natural human instincts: communication, investigation, construction, and artistic expression. Richard Paul and Linda Elder, 2 leading figures in the area of critical thinking, defines it as the art of analyzing and evaluating thought processes with a view to improving them. Critical thinking is self-directed, self-disciplined, self-monitored, and self-corrective thinking. It requires rigorous standards of excellence and mindful command of their use. It entails effective communication and problem-solving abilities. It advances the character and ethical sensitivities of the dedicated person through the explicit cultivation of intellectual virtues. A well-cultivated critical thinker has a sense of curiosity and interest in finding new solutions, is willing to examine beliefs, assumptions, and opinions and weigh them against evidence, raises vital or pertinent questions and problems, formulating them clearly and precisely. These are thought-provoking questions that analyze, compare and contrast, infer, predict, and evaluate. These questions can also specify, amplify, categorize, verify or validate, determine degrees of magnitude, and probe or challenge motive. The questions need to be direct, relevant, concrete, as unbiased as possible, and civil in tone. A well-cultivated critical thinker gathers and assesses relevant information, using abstract ideas to make effective interpretations. Is able to admit to a lack of understanding or a gap in knowledge. Is able to clearly define a set of criteria for analyzing beliefs. Suspends judgment until all facts have been gathered and evaluated. Comes to well-reasoned conclusions and solutions, testing them against relevant criteria and standards. Thinks open-mindedly with alternative systems of thought, recognizing and assessing, as need be, their assumptions, implications, and practical consequences. Communicates effectively with others in figuring out solutions to complex problems. Is scrupulously careful not to misrepresent or distort information in developing an argument or position, and sees through false information and fake news. To be an effective critical thinker, you should learn to compare and contrast different perspectives on an issue, idea, or problem in order to understand its complexity. Identify, compare, and interpret objections, implications, and limitations of different perspectives on, or arguments about, an issue. Bernstein notes that controversy is fundamental to intellectual knowledge. When people are confronted with 2 credible but antagonistic arguments, they must deal with the tension between the 2. That tension is the engine driving critical thinking. This habit of inquiry can be applied to your everyday life, as you consume media, observe the popular culture, make choices, and interact with your friends and instructors. Next time. In Part 2, we'll talk about a specific model for critical thinking that has been adopted by the college. Until then, thank you for your time. If you want to learn more about the subjects we have discussed, these are the sources used for Part 1.